Hey, hi guys, how's it going? What's up? It's your boy JJ again. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a future fight deck tech. We're going to be taking a look at Nightmare Dolls. The live stream today was talking a whole bunch of overdress support, a bunch of overdress cards, and especially the Dark States keyword got revealed, which is by the name of violence. I just can't. Oh god. Violence Bruce revealed the rush mechanic, or the final rush mechanic that we're gonna be getting. Starter right face stuff. That's very interesting. But first we're gonna be taking a look at I got this list like a couple days ago that I saw it in my feed from the official Vanguard channel. Actually, they had a two fight decks against each other, one with Battle Sisters, the other one was Nightmare Dolls, and they were playing against each other. And Dr. Earl was actually playing this exact same list, and I said, well, I want to test it out for myself. I find the deck pretty interesting. I think the deck's pretty fun, and I want to see what it does. So I've been playing this deck for about close to 8 hours. Close to 8 hours, so this is basically my own feelings and how I feel that this deck has felt so far for me, and hopefully you guys can take it with a grain of salt. Maybe it might be different for you, depends on your own environment, depending on where you live, and depends on your own play group and what you're testing against. I tested a lot of matches against sort of tier 2 level decks, so something like Maelstrom, Vios, those type of decks, and the deck actually performed really well against those. But sadly enough, it didn't do too well against stuff like Gavriel or Overlord, or decks like those. It won't do that well against. But decks that are around the same strength level as itself, I feel it'll wash it. I feel it'll wash it. If your opponent doesn't read your cards, they're gonna get punished. They're going to be in for a very bad time. But if your opponent is very cognizant of exactly what all your cards are going to do, it's going to be rough times for you. So you need to be very careful about how you spend your resources. It took me finally, after about 8 hours of playing this deck, I figured out kind of how the deck worked, and I'm happy I learned it. I think it's a really fun deck to play. So we get into the list and talk about the ratios. As I said, I lifted this list completely off of Dr. O, so he probably might have his own reasons why he did it, but I agree with a lot of the choices so far. So he, of course, ran like 4 copies of Nightmare Dolls Chelsea, the New Fighters Collection Volume 2 card that's going to be coming out relatively soon. I think like April 2nd. That we'll be getting that in the pipeline. Of course, it's your main beater. Her skill is Counterblast. Counterblast 1. Choose 2 units from your soul, Nightmare Workroid units from your soul, call them. And if your opponent's a grade 3, they both get plus 10k. Its additional skill on Rearguard Circle is as follows. After its finished attacks at the end of battle. Oh, by the way, both of their skills are at end of battle. So the end of battle skill is also on Vanguard and on Rearguard Circle, but both different. The Superior Call 2 is end of battle, and the other skill I'm going to say right now is also end of battle. At the end of battle, you put this unit into soul, and you choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and they put them into soul as well. So it's a bit of a disruption against very strong decks that oftentimes needs to set up, or has very annoying rear guards that you can't really get rid of. I do like that it gave Nightmare Dolls an extra form of reach to be able to take care of those very annoying units. And then of course 4 copies of Carol, because she's basically your almost OTK loop. I would recommend, whenever playing this deck, try to set up 2 Carols in your soul. So like 1 in your hand, 1 in your soul, and you're good to go for most of the game. Being able to push your opponent from like 3 or 4 to 5, or you already have your soul set up with Chelsea, or you roll Chelsea first, and then you push your opponent a little bit, and then you roll it into Carol, and then you get the setup. And then 3 copies of Alice. She is your beater. But you don't need to prioritize riding her unless you don't have any CB open, because then you can go like Carol into Alice, and then Alice can get you another unit out of the board, out of your deck, so then you can get a Chelsea out your deck, Chelsea out your soul on an XL marker, and it hits for 22, so it can still hit for nice beefy numbers. And those are the grade 3s. I don't know whether or not you want to add more grade 3s, so something like Dorian or anything like that, if you want to like try to set up for next turn again and get some card draw off of. that's up for you to test and decide for yourself. I feel that these have worked really well so far in the test sessions that I've played with it so far. I think the game goes too fast for you to be able to set up with Dorian anytime soon that is relevant, unfortunately. And I feel that these are nice. And then on to the grade 2s, which we play, I think, 10 of? No, 9? Huh. It didn't feel like we were playing 9. Interesting. But we do play the new Nightmare Doll Marissa. When placed from hand, put a card from your hand into your soul, look at the top 7 cards of your deck, and you add 2 non-grade 2 Nightmare Dolls. That is nice. She is a very good card. She pluses incredibly hard. She is, though, on place from hand, so you can't do any soul call shenanigans with Alice to be able to set up and get more pluses. But she potentially, like, worst comes to worst, gets you like a 20k shield. Or she can get you extra grade 3s. But actually, you want to keep your grade 3s in deck, or a couple of your grade 3s in deck, because you also want to be able to call a grade 3 off of Carol. So that's something you might want to pay attention to. So I usually use it to search my grade 1s, because the grade 1s are like très good. Really good. And then your beat stick, one of your best beat sticks that you got when placed, doesn't matter from where, so from soul or from hand. When placed, it's got 2k until I end a turn for each work reward on your Vanguard rearguard circle. It doesn't sound like much. It doesn't sound like much until you're bashing your opponent in for 28k on Axle Marker. Just saying. It can happen. Axle Markers exist. You get multiple units on the board. And then you have 2 copies of Nightmare Doll Ellen. When it attacks, Counterblast 1, put one of your other work rewards on the rearguard circle into the soul, draw a card, and this unit gets plus 10k until end of turn. This also facilitates any other like grade 3s you potentially could have on a board. So say for example you have like a second Carol on a board or something, you can attack with one of your Carols, you can attack with Ellen, and then you can like Superior Right on a Chelsea depending on your CB, or you can Superior Right on Alice. If you're really looking to dig for some stuff or set up for next turn, it at least gives you something to do. You can also soul charge a couple of your grade 1s that I'll show you in a minute. And then let's go up to the grade 1s now. We play 4 copies of Abigail. Her skill is Vanguard Circle on ride. On ride, oh sorry, not on ride, like on place, Vanguard Circle, soul charge 1. Very simple. I would have preferred to draw 1, but that's just me. I would have liked to draw 1, or at least draw 1, put a card from your hand into your soul. I would have liked that too, but maybe that might have been too good, I guess. Rearguard Circle at the end of turn. Add a grade 3. Yeah, add a grade 3 work reward from your soul to your hand. And if you do, countercharge 1. By the way, it does not have to be when you're on grade 3 either. So you can add it on your grade 2 turn. And especially a lot of your skills don't really care what grade you're on. A lot of your skills don't, except for Chelsea. The Chelsea kind of cares what your opponent's grade is on, but everything else doesn't really care. And then you have Nightmare Doll Beverly. She is, oh my god, I have no idea why. I wanted to maybe play Edith over Beverly, but then I played 8 hours with it, and there is no way why I would ever consider Edith over Beverly ever again. I don't know why I griefed that hard to make that kind of decision, but Jesus Christ, Beverly's so good. So the thing with Beverly, right, when your other Rookroyd is placed in the same column as this unit, that unit gets 5k until a turn. You want to put this under your Vanguard, because it's very important, because if your opponent doesn't hit any defensive triggers, you can constantly hit over your opponent's Vanguard who's playing force markers. Or if you hit against, or you play against Axle or Protect, you force your opponent to guard with more than 10k shield against you every single attack. 10k shield is 1 to pass. 15k shield is also 1 to pass. You have to guard for 20 every single time. It's insane. Nightmare Doll Tuska. Nightmare Doll Tuska, Vanguard Circle, Rearguard Circle. Also a pretty okay defaulter ride. Beverly, you actually want to put it down early on your grade 2 turn, so that when you ride into your grade 3, you instantly get your 5k. So you want to put it down under your Vanguard as fast as possible, so as soon as possible. But of course, keep in consideration what deck you're playing against. So if you're playing against, like, I don't know, Kagero or something, if that still exists somewhere outside of Overlord. I mean, Overlord does still tech in some retire. It still has in some, so you might want to be careful against something like that, I guess. Yeah. Nightmare Doll Tuska, Vanguard Rearguard Circle, 1 place from hand, look at top 5 cards from the top of your deck, put 1 Rokoroid from among them into your soul, and shuffle your deck. So basically anything, allowing you to set up for anything, which is nice. And then you have 2 copies of Marion Soul. When your Rokoroid is placed on Vanguard Circle, call this to Rearguard Circle. This ability can only be used by a card by the same name once a turn. Pretty good. Pretty good. So it allows you to kind of get some little cheeky multi-attacks in, especially if you're going to try to go for the Carol race stand. It allows you to get like an extra grade 1 on the board, and you can set it back in with Ellen, draw a card off of it, get plus 10k, gets more pressure. So really nice. Then we have 4 copies of heals, 4 front triggers, 8 front triggers, and 4 draws. You don't really need to play crits. I feel you lose too much power if you go crits. There are some situations that can be a little bit awkward, especially with how you need to attack with Carols and Chelseas and Alice's, because oftentimes you need to attack with those first. And I guess it can create like a very weird situation that you might not have enough rear guards to pass off power to with your front triggers. But there's more times than not that you have too much rear guards on the board for it not to be good. Especially if you're going to be calling out Marion. This is an extra rear guard that you can target with your front trigger. So I still think that's pretty good. You filter so much through this deck. You add so much through this deck. I think it's a really fun deck to play. I do evaluate it like a B-. I think that's my final evaluation of it. It is a B- deck. If your opponent reads your cards, you're in a lot of trouble. If your opponent doesn't know what your deck is doing, you're going to mollywop them. And that's kind of card fight Vanguard. So for a couple of months, you'll probably like wash a couple of your friends, but then when you figure out what your deck does, they'll damage deny you, they'll starve you out, and they'll probably keep you at 3 damage to try to one-shot you. So yeah. I mean, I like it a lot. But that's the cool thing about this Fighters Collection, though. There's a lot of these cards in this clan that just feel good to play. And I'm sorry if that might have actually sounded like super doom and gloom when I said it. I didn't mean it that way, but my brain sort of like to instantly to the competitive aspect of the game. Competitively, nah, bro. Yeah. But local level, you know, you might top a tournament, you might even win a local. I do find that this deck is actually really sleeper if you in premium. I've not tested it in premium, but I think it's probably going to be pretty nuts in premium too, because if it can do the same thing, you can do the same thing with less damage in premium, but then you can just play Harry too. But if you want to play Alice or Nightmare Dolls and all that stuff, I don't know how that would work. I would not figure out how that would work, but that would be really cool though. But if you want to see more videos like this, or see me do like future fight tech videos or future tech videos, don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe if you want to. And I hope you guys have a great one. If I don't see you today, I'll see you tomorrow. If I don't see you tomorrow, I'll see you whenever. Till next time. Bye-bye.